Once again, we've had the right to work debate on the floor, and as I have said continually throughout this session, this is a huge change for Missouri, and it really should go to the vote of the people. We heard some arguments that said, well, the people have voted us here. Well, if that truly is the case, then what is the problem with taking it to the people? And as I've also said, I would argue that right to work was not why folks were voted in here. And if you look at where the dollars came from, it is special interest, and they are simply carrying the water for special interest.
Seems like, do you think this has any chance of getting a referendum clause on the Senate side of things? Do you think that proposal's pretty much done now?
I doubt very serious that it'll get the referendum clause in the Senate.
What's your hope going forward for how unions should be dealing with this, or kind of how to deal with the new reality that this likely will pass?
Well, you know, I'm hopeful that we'll see an initiative petition process and that it will eventually get on the ballot and let the people tell us what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what will happen. I think we'll see an initiative petition. It'll get on the ballot in 2018. I think it'll definitely should get on the ballot. My concern there would be is that this body would, again, try to overturn that, the will of the people, which they've done in the past, whether it's puppy mills or concealed carry, things of that nature. But again, I just want to restate that something of this magnitude that will affect every person that earns a paycheck in this state should be brought to the vote of the people. It's very, very important that the people know what they're voting for and know what they're getting, because I think this issue has been made difficult and complicated for people. Right to work sounds so beautiful. I even like the sound of right to work. You know, it sounds great, but that's not what it's about. It's a right to work for less money, less safety, less pensions, less future. You know, and I've been a union member all my life, and I'll state that first. You know, and what it's done for my family and all those around me, and people in general.
I heard some complaints about the pension system with the Teamsters. How do you think the timing of that has impacted debate on this proposal?
I'm not an expert on it, but I know there's some issues that they could have took up in the Congress that they failed to do to protect a lot of these pensions, a lot of things that were invested in things of that nature as far as the Teamster pension. Again, I'm not an expert on it. I know the unions are fighting for their members as much as they can. However, their hands are tied in a lot of areas that are governed by different laws that I'm not, you know, I don't know. I think it's very unfortunate, you know, that somebody would lose their pension. I don't want to lose mine. You know, that's part of the reason why I'm doing this too, is I don't want to lose mine. I don't want somebody to lose their pension. I don't want them to lose their dignity.
So you tried to put an amendment on to put it to the vote of the people. I know that unions are trying to do that through an initiative petition. Just explain the philosophy around that.
Simple, like I just stated. It's the issue's too big. It's too big to be voted here, and you know, there's special interest money, like was mentioned before. There's $14.5 million came from one person, and it was throughout this body, the governor, and all that. One person on a right to work issue, and I don't think that is money. I don't think it's democracy. If we want this issue, if it's that important for the state, which I don't believe either, for economic development, let the people vote on it. You know, I won't like it, but I'll accept it. You know, I accepted term limits years ago too, and I wasn't a fan of that, but I'll accept it. You know.
Heard some complaints on the Republican side about the provision that would allow for county prosecutors and the state attorney general to investigate and prosecute violations of this. Are there any concerns on the Democratic side about that provision?
My issue, one of the main things they mentioned in committee too, was that this is all about freedom. And one of the first things they do is put criminal charges against the employer. And employer, if they decide to bargain any type of other contract that has a union security clause in it. And so that doesn't sound like freedom to me. It sounds like you're mandating private agreements between employers and workers that have got along for years. And we've had our disagreements and differences, but we've progressed together as a state. That doesn't sound like freedom. So yes, I do have concerns about that. I also have concerns. There's civil concerns. I have a lot of concerns with the bill itself.
You might have said this on the outside. Are you a member of a labor union right now?
Yes, I am. I'm a proud member of Local 562 Pipers and Plumbers for 30 years.
My question is, if right to work becomes law of the land and the ballot initiative doesn't overturn it, how energized do you think unions are going to be to make sure that members like you continue to pay their dues? Because people have a choice, it stands to reason that some people may decide not to pay. So how aggressive do you think the union leadership is going to be to make sure the membership stays in the fold?
Well, they're aggressive now. See, I think that's a misnomer too. They call us union bosses. They call it this and that. We have elected, every 3 years we have elections, and people run and they run for business manager or whatever. And so there's elections. It's a freely democratic thing. If you don't like what's going on, you can either run for a position. I mean, it's not like it's some sort of monopoly or some sort of dictatorship. So we have those things now. Will it be, it just basically lets people become freeloaders, and that will divert the power of the people together as a collective soul. So you tilt the balance of power more in favor of the CEOs. That's what's going on here. That's what this is about. It's also about defunding the Democratic Party and anybody that stands in their way. It's about that too. So.
That's it. Thank you.